Hi, it's Lewis Paul, and welcome to another Colors of Prog. This is Season 4, Episode 10. Um, if anyone sat through that recap of Cruise to the Edge, that was the previous video. Hopefully we're back on track here and much more exciting. Just kidding. It's kind of hard to, in regards to that episode, it's kind of hard to talk about and discuss so many bands and experience like that, and I left out stuff like interactions with band members, but as I said, generally they were all very, very nice. Oh, and the highlight of that was Alberto Braven, who I saw him after his pool stage performance with Big Big Train, and he's nice enough to chat for a few minutes. So there's that. So this show, Genesis related, and it's two new recordings from Genesis members, former Genesis members. So first, Steve Hackett, who turned 74 last February, and while he is best known for being the guitar player for Genesis from, I believe, 71 through 77, throughout the best of the Peter Gabriel years and into the Phil Collins as band leader era, he's had a solo career since 1975's Voyage of the Acolyte. And despite teaming up with Steve Howe in the 80s for the supergroup GTR, Hackett has continued to record a variety of material, classically influenced world music, Spanish guitar imbibed variety of music. And he's been touring the past 10 years or so with an on-off band of great players reviving the old Genesis material to audiences worldwide, to the extent of also releasing numerous live offerings resulting. The Circus and the Nightwhale, the Circus and the Nightwhale, sorry for that, is his 30th solo album, released in 2024. Now think about 30 solo albums. Supposedly a concept album about growing up in post-war Britain and the years following, it dovetails nicely with his recent autobiography. And if you read that, you'll get some of this, because Steve Hackett talks quite a bit from growing up during the World War II, and post-war Britain. So really interesting stuff there. So then when you listen to this, it kind of makes sense. Steve sings lead vocals on most of these, and I had no problem with that. He's been singing for years on his own solo albums. And he does have guests singing as well on some of his work. He's got every right to. He's Steve Hackett. And he's entitled to sing his own music. There's a variety of musical influences here. And even some crunchy metal-like numbers, which earn the album The Circus and the Nightwhale a placement high in the UK heavy metal charts. I kid you not. So it's a very good Hackett record with, as usual, a lot of well-known musicians helping out. And the initial pressing came with an additional disc containing a DTS 5.1 surround and a 24-bit high-diff audio mix, and that's on Blu-ray. Yes. There's your additional mix here. And it came with the CD. There's also a booklet featuring photographs, some featuring Steve Hackett, and the band lineup on this. Nad Sylvan appears on guitar and vocals. Jonas Reingold plays bass on 4 songs. Roger King is on everything on keyboards and programming, and Roger King tours with Steve when he goes on tour. Nick DiVirgilio, who everyone knows that famous name, also plays drums on one track. And there's some snatches of lyrics, and Steve actually talks a little about the album. Nice little booklet. And I think it's a very good Hackett album. And I've got a lot of Steve Hackett albums, including non-Genesis albums, and including non-Genesis live tour, Steve Hackett live tour albums, non-Genesis related meaning. And I think it's one of his better works, and at 74, he's doing a great job. And very nice fellow. And so I recommend the Circus and the Nightwhale. What does that mean? Well, you'll get it when you listen to it and if you read his liner notes. Now, also from Genesis and also recently released is Peter Gabriel's I.O. Small case I \O. That was in late 2023. And here is that. And without the Japanese style thingy, this is a 3-disc set. And it features many mixes, and I'll get to that in a minute. So it opens up to something like this. I've got a lot to say about this show. I will begin. Since leaving Genesis at the end of the Lamb Lies Down tour in 75-76, this is only the 16th Gabriel solo album since his first in 77. And remember, his first 4 solo albums were all called Peter Gabriel, confusing a hell of a lot of people at the time. Like, do I already have this? Why is the album cover different? Oh, it's a different Peter Gabriel album called Peter Gabriel. Not quite the Genesis co-founder who might be leaning heavily into that band's well-known hits, Gabriel forged a career into uncharted territory, including world music, polyrhythmic sounds, and the like. Sometimes, like it or not, he ended up with a hit song, like Salisbury Hill, Biko, or Shock the Monkey. His last true solo album was 2002's Up, although he released 3 recordings he was involved in, but not the primary singer, in 2008, 2010, and 2011. Largely, those are Gabriel compositions where, this is very interesting, he plays keyboards, rarely sings, and the vocals are by others. I.O., released at the end of the 2023 tour, sounds a little disjointed. At first, I thought the keyboards and synthesizers all sounded dated to me, like late 80s, early 90s keyboard sound, leading me to think, did the songs date back from that time period? And there's a lot of compression on his vocals on the first, what he's calling bright side mix of I.O. Why did he release this in 3 mixes? I have no idea. The light mix is a disinteresting listen to me, and the kind of music that once inhabited now abandoned malls or elevators or office building elevators in office building skyscrapers. I still remember the time when I worked in a large office building in Lower Manhattan, and you would hear some music. It was low, but discernible enough for you to know what it might have been. I thought it was really that uninvolving. Thankfully, the dark side mix fixes a lot of that and a lot of the problems by punching up the bass, drums, and remixing the vocals. So I go for that one. There's also the inside mix, whatever that is, because I did listen to it, of course, and it seemed very much like the light mix. And so I'm like, if they realized it was an issue with how the album sound, and guys recall, those who saw the Peter Gabriel tour 2023, I think it was a fall into winter kind of tour, he only released a song about once per month from this album or thereabouts. And so, but most of those shows were heavy on IO. So a lot of people are going to see a show with music they've never heard before and would not hear in total until after the conclusion of the tour. Another strange thing. So I go for this dark side mix, and beyond that, with all these versions, it's kind of, did I agree with putting out a 3-disc set? Because that does raise the average price of the CD. Although I think I did see at some point individual mixes released. So you could buy the bright side mix, you could buy the dark side mix, you could buy the inside mix separately. But then you're paying 3 times that amount, so it might be cheaper to get the one that has all 3. I don't know. It leans toward the good rather than the mediocre. And I wonder what, should this be the last Peter Gabriel album? I wonder what's in the future for him. I met people recently on the last cruise who asked me if I like Genesis, and I said, yes, I do. And we got into conversation. They said they saw him on the IO tour. And so I got around to asking, so what did you think of the album? And it was almost universally, meh. But they knew it might have been the last time they'd ever see Peter Gabriel. And so they had no issues with that. So anyway, 2 former Genesis band members, and Steve Hackett, the Circus, and the Nightwhale is one I liked a lot, and I prefer it over IO. It has certainly gotten better the more time I listen to the dark mixes. So that's our show. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.